The Dictionary of Real Estate Appraisal, page 88, Chapter F, continued. Federal Home Loan Bank System. In the United States, a system established in 1932 to serve as a mortgage credit reserve system for home mortgage lending institutions. Members may obtain advances on home mortgage collateral and may borrow from home loan banks under certain conditions. Federal Home Loan Mortgage Corporation, FHLMC. C. Freddie Mac. Federal Housing Administration, FHA, insured loans. Insured mortgages from private lending institutions designed to provide home ownership and rental opportunities for American families. The interest rates on these loans are set by the FHA. Federal Housing Administration, FHA mortgage. A mortgage made in conformity with the requirements of the National Housing Act and insured by the Federal Housing Administration. Federal Housing Financing Agency, FHFA, an independent federal agency created as part of the Housing and Economic Recovery Act of 2008 to regulate Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and the Federal Home Loan Banks. The agency merged the Federal Housing Finance Board, FHFB, the Office of Federal Housing Enterprise Oversight, OFHEO, and the GSE Mission Office of the Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD. Federal Intermediate Credit Banks. In the United States, regional banks created by Congress to provide intermediate credit for ranchers and farmers by rediscounting the agricultural paper of financial institutions. Federally Related Transaction, FRT. In the United States, under Title 11 of the Financial Institutions Reform, Recovery, and Enforcement Act, FIREA, any real estate related financial transaction that a federal financial institution regulatory agency, FFIRA, engages in, contracts for, or regulates, and that requires the services of an appraiser. See also real estate-related transaction. Federal National Mortgage Association, FNMA. See Fannie Mae. Federal Home Loan Bank. Here's a picture. It shows the one in San Francisco covers Cali, Nevada, and AZ. The one in Dallas covers New Mexico, Texas, and Louisiana, and maybe Mississippi. The one in Topeka covers Oklahoma, Colorado, and whatever else is in the middle. The one in Des Moines covers all the northwest and central of New Mexico, or the United States. Chicago covers Illinois. Indianapolis covers that state. Wisconsin probably. Atlanta covers the entire southeast part of the country, Florida, Georgia, and all that. And then there's Cincinnati, there's Pittsburgh, there's New York, and there's Boston. And it looks like the one in New York covers Hawaii. No, or it covers one of the U.S. territories. The one in Des Moines covers Alaska and Hawaii. Page 89. Federal Rectangular Survey System. See Rectangular Survey System. Federal Regulations for Lenders. See Evaluation and Federally Related Transaction, FRT. Federal Reserve Bank. In the United States, one of the 12 Federal Reserve district banks created and regulated by the Federal Reserve System. The 12 districts are First District, Boston. Second District, New York. Third District, Philadelphia. Fourth District, Cleveland. Fifth District, Richmond. Sixth District, Atlanta. Seventh District, Chicago. Eighth District, St. Louis. 9th District, Minneapolis. 10th District, Kansas City. 11th District, Dallas. 12th District, San Francisco. Federal Reserve Bank account. An account kept by a member bank as required by Federal Reserve regulations to clear the member bank with the Federal Reserve Bank in its district, showing the cash balance due from the Federal Reserve Bank to guarantee that the member bank has sufficient reserves on hand. Federal Reserve Bank collections account. An account that shows all monies for out-of-town checks distributed for collection by a Federal Reserve check collection system. The funds are not presently available in reserve, but are being collected. Federal Reserve Board Bank. See Federal Reserve Bank. Federal Reserve Bulletin. In the United States, a monthly journal issued by the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System that deals with banking and financial issues. Federal Reserve Credit. In the United States, the credit supply that Federal Reserve banks have added to member banks bank reserves composed primarily of earning assets of the Federal Reserve banks. Federal Reserve notes. In the United States, notes issued by the Federal reserve banks when certain areas require large volumes of currency or when the public demand for currency is very heavy. As the need for currency relaxes, Federal Reserve banks retire these notes. Federal Reserve notes are issued to member banks in denominations of $1 to $10,000, providing elastic currency with full legal tender status. Here is a picture of the Federal Reserve Bank districts. Shows 12 is like all the West Coast. There's the Minneapolis 9, Kansas City, Dallas, Atlanta, St. Louis, Cleveland, Boston, New York.